at number 4 Ohio State. All right, this ain't my Maryland. This ain't your Maryland. This ain't your daddy's Maryland. This Maryland, good. They're good. Now, Ohio State is favored by 19.5. That's a big spread. Okay? I said to Coach Loxley coming into this thing, back in Big Ten Media Days, hey, Lox, I looked at the schedule, my dude. You could be 5-0 by the time y'all go to Ohio State. And he said, RJ, you counting wins on me already? Yes, I am, because y'all that good. Now, this game could look a lot like USC Colorado last week. Understand what I'm saying here? Because this will be the first ever meeting between Maryland and Ohio State when both are undefeated. But it's also going to be the first time since 1940 that Ohio State has played 5 consecutive. Yeah, their 5th game for them, 6th game for Maryland. 5 consecutive undefeated opponents. And Ohio State is 8-0 all time against Maryland, right? We know what that is. And at the shoe, against Maryland, it's gotten worse, right? 49 in 2015, 62 in 2017, 73 in 2019, 66 in 2021, and as far as points scored. And, Ohio State's 38-40 at home recently. Losses to, goodness me, we're talking about Michigan and Oregon. That's it. Going into the shoe and getting a win ain't easy to do. And, they've been outscoring people off a bye. Like Ryan Day's Buckeyes have been devastating off a bye. They have outscored opponents off a bye 108-17 in the Ryan Day era. You just don't want them off a bye. But Maryland got an ace in the hole. It's called Josh Gaddis, who has beaten Ohio State before and is calling the plays against Ryan Day and Jim Knowles. Now, I kind of think that if I look at Talia Tagovailoa, I see a great quarterback. But then I went and looked at the statistics. He's already the best quarterback Maryland's ever had. He's passed for over 9,300 yards. He's passed 64 TDs. And I understand Tua's little brother ain't moving it for a bunch of y'all, but they are 5-0 heading into this thing. And Mike Loxley has been making it happen at College Park. It's been a steady progression. He's been building this thing. Game features the 2 top offenses in the Big Ten, top 2 passing offenses in the Big Ten, too. So watching Kyle McCord operate against that defense is going to be fun. But if Talia Tagovailoa can do against Ohio State's defense what nobody else has been able to do, which is basically get the big play, this could be a ball game, right? Now, I'm also looking at this, and Maryland and Ohio State are both winning by an average of 25 points. So the spread, is the spread. So maybe they keep that up. But Maryland's going to need a great game from Roman Hemby. Matter of fact, he's going to need to be so good that you're going to have to be thinking about the Roman Empire. Mark Antony, Caesar, friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives long after them. The good is often interred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. In this case, Caesar would be Ohio State. You see how I tied it back. But 85 a game ain't going to do it against Ohio State. Roman Hemby is going to have to absolutely wreck shop against that defensive front, and that's just hard, man. That's just difficult. Now, Notre Dame did a really great job against that defensive front, 176 yards, but again, they were at home. I don't know that you're going to be able to do that at the shoe. They're going to be loud. It's going to be 100,000 people there. I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to pick Ohio State because that's a smart thing to do. As much as you want to pick against them, that ain't smart for nobody. 38-40. And if Kyle McCord is the weakest part of your offense, and that's legitimate, like he might be the weakest part of that offense, you got a really damn good offense because we still haven't seen a 100-yard game from Mecca Buka. You know what I'm saying? Julian Fleming's still there. Kate Stover is emerging. Trey Henderson. Trey Sanders is over at Texas Christian. Chip Traynham. I'm saying we got dudes over there, and they got dudes on both sides of the ball. But I would not be shocked to find out that Maryland actually puts in a shift here. Because remember, last year they lost this game 34-27 to Michigan that everybody was like, is Maryland good? Turns out, yeah, they got to put it all together at one point in time. All right, let's go to number 20, Kentucky at number 1, Georgia. Georgia's favored by 14.5. I just want to see Georgia put together a full game. They have not been great against SEC opponents so far, needing to come from behind against South Carolina, and then they need to come from behind against Auburn. I'm watching that game expecting them to do something dirty, and turns out, no, Brock Bowers is the only guy with the mutant gene. Carson Beck is fine. 72% passing, 309 yards, but if you got the mutant gene over there, you can do most what you want in the offensive game. Daijun Edwards has been steady at tailback. Malachi Starks is the dude, like try throwing on that secondary, but that ain't what Kentucky does. Now, Devin Leary ain't been great, but even if Devin Leary was, that ain't Mark Stoops' style. He wants to run the football and play defense. That's why when you see Ray Davis go off for 289 yards from scrimmage against Florida, yeah, you better check him. By the way, that dude transferred from Vanderbilt. And I'm reminded that Tyler Steen transferred to Alabama from Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, what the hell y'all doing sitting on these dudes? How are they leaving? Ray Davis shows up and runs on everybody? If he could do that against Georgia, yeah, you're going to hear about it. But Kentucky ain't beat Georgia since 2009, meaning that Georgia's won 13 straight against Kentucky. It feels like the kind of game where Kentucky will show up, like USC Colorado. They'll show up. They'll find a way to get involved. And then at the end, you'll see Georgia do what Georgia does. Maybe it'll be Brock Bowers. Maybe it'll be Daijun Edwards. Maybe it'll be Carson Beck. But somebody's going to go do it. But you know what? Maybe Mike Stoops can finally beat Georgia. I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter at all. I'm picking Georgia, by the way. Yeah, I'm picking Georgia against Kentucky. All right. Number 11, Alabama at Texas A&M. Alabama's favored by 2.5, but last time they played at Kyle Field, Jimbo Fisher and Ampersand U dispatched the number 1 ranked Tide, 41-38. Maybe Nick Saban remembers that. I don't know. Maybe Jalen Milroe remembers that it didn't grow great for him the last time he played against Texas A&M. But you know what? Max Johnson, Aeneas Smith, Evan Stewart, they need to have big games against that Bama defense, which I think is terrifying. I don't want any parts of them, and yet they got dudes on that secondary, ball hawks that are growing more capable and confident with every snap they play. Kool-Aid McKinstry come through your wall in your living room, talk about, what's good. Yeah, okay. I don't know, man. Max Johnson, 3-1 as a starter at A&M. He was great toward the end of the season against LSU that one time, against Florida. But DJ Durkin's defense was the first to show Jalen Milroe that he ain't no Bryce Young. Maybe they can do that again. Milroe's been sacked 13 times this year. It could be tight. It probably will be low scoring. But I got to tell you, man, if Jimbo Fisher messes around and beats Alabama again, you can put the kibosh on whatever's going to happen with Jimbo. But if they get housed by Alabama, the Aggie Network might find $80 million. They spiteful like that. And Bobby Petrino's right there. It's going to get nasty if they get nasty. All right, so I'm going to pick Bama in this one. And maybe A&M, Ampersand U can upset them again. We'll see. Number 10, Notre Dame at Louisville. Number 25, Louisville, Notre Dame favored by 6.5. Notre Dame is trying to make like the Subway alumni and like work with their hands for the first time since 2005, which is when they last went on the road back-to-back weeks to beat ranked opponents. I don't think that Louisville's that good, but they are undefeated. And Notre Dame's been flirting with disaster, like Molly Hatchet out here for the last couple of weeks. I mean, right there on edge against Duke on a 4th and 16, you got to have it. Sam Hartman got to go get it for you, and then Audric Estime got to finish it for you. All right, so let me get at it this way. Louisville, 5-0, might be looking at Notre Dame like Tiffany Gomez on the airplane. At the end of this, they get a win. Talk about these dudes ain't real. They be in it. But, they got the ACC's leading rusher in Jahar Jordan. I say ACC's leading rusher because, Audric Estime has rushed for 672 yards, and he leads the FBS in rushing, but he does not lead the ACC in rushing because Notre Dame insists on this open marriage with the ACC. Just stringing the ACC along out there in South Bend. Why don't you just go ahead and get hitched? Why do we have to keep watching this? I want to say that Audric Estime leads the ACC in rushing, not just the FBS. It's ridiculous. Get out for this, dude. Just go join the conference. Sam Hartman has been proving me correct. He is the best quarterback in Notre Dame history. Throw Theismann at me if you want to, right? Throw Joe Montana at me if you want to. And I will point to you, what did they do at Notre Dame? And then what did they do at college? Don't bring me no NFL stats talking about college football. Don't do that. We do college football here. Talk about the NFL on Sundays. We got a podcast for you. It's hosted by Dave Hellman. You can go check that one out. Here, FBS, baby. Tell me how good Sam Hartman has been, and I will tell you, yeah, that's the best dude to ever put on Notre Dame uniform and play quarterback out there. Again, Louisville beats Notre Dame. Cardinals fans are going to talk more noise than the Louisville Lip after putting Sonny Liston on his back. telling Ernie Terrell to announce his name from his back, and then George Foreman in Manila. Look, I'm rooting for a thriller, is what I'm saying. Jeff Brown, Jack Plummer, get on it. Make this one interesting for me. A couple of those that you need to keep your eyes on, too. Howard, holy bleep, cross the third, and Jamari Thrash, two dudes that I'm enamored with. Howard over there playing outstandingly on the defensive side of the ball. Jamari Thrash, outstanding wide receiver. I'm picking Notre Dame to win this game because, again, that's the sensible thing to do. But maybe Louisville won it. Maybe they got something to them that we ain't seen yet. All right. Number 13, Washington at UCLA. UCLA is favored by 3.5. I rank UCLA, but the AP doesn't want to rank UCLA. So now Washington State has to deal with that wrath. But you know what? Cam Ward and the Pullman Pyrotechnics versus Dante Moore and the Westwood Connection. Yeah, right? Somebody gonna get invited to their Gangsta Nation. That's what it's gonna be. Because at the end of this, we're gonna find out somebody else is real or not real. Because there's a lot of folks that kind of be like, I don't know, Washington State might be on it. Maybe, but this is a really good judge of how good Wazoo is. Like, we don't think that Wisconsin is great, but we don't think that Wisconsin is bad. UCLA didn't show everything they got in Salt Lake City against Utah and Rice-Eccles, but maybe they got a little something else, right? Again, this game is at UCLA. It's in Pasadena. I'm always going to be in on a quarterback competition. Like, Cam Ward has been outstanding. I think it's 376 pass yards on average game, 16 TDs, no interceptions. And we're talking about Josh Kelly, Lincoln Victor, and Kyle Williams featuring at wide receivers. Really fun to watch that offense work. Dante Moore's dude. Like, it's going to, by year 3 of the Dante Moore experience, the Big Ten might be in for some. I like watching that dude play football. I think he's going to be outstanding. But UCLA can score with Wazoo. I know this because Wazoo is going to let you score 20. And if you let them score 20, you get into a rhythm. You might see the West Side Connection getting after it with the Pullman Pyrotechnics. Like, it's on and popping in the Pac-12 this year. Outstanding quarterback play. But UCLA and Oregon are the only two teams in the entire conference that are averaging 250 passing and 200 rushing. I expect that to be the trend in this game. I'm going to pick Washington State to win it. I like Cam Ward. I like Jake Dickert. I think they got a defense that can get into the backfield and maybe get in Dante Moore's way. And if they can, it probably is Washington State's to lose at that point. But, you know, don't put it past them. They can lose it. Thank you for watching the #1 college football show. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and like this video so that you don't miss any of the best college football coverage in America.